Tom Selleck, the timeless symbol of Hollywood masculinity, is best known for his legendary role in Magnum P.I., but behind that signature mustache and quiet charm lies a surprisingly layered love life. His romantic journey is one of depth, mystery, and enduring devotion. From his early passionate marriage to model actress Jacqueline Ray, to rumored flings with international beauties like Lillian Müller, Marie Helven, and Kitten Natividad, Selleck's dating history reflects a man of both restraint and quiet intensity. While he has never been one to chase headlines, every chapter of his love life adds to the allure of a man who has always valued privacy over publicity. And at the heart of it all, a rare Hollywood love story that has stood the test of time. His nearly 40-year marriage to Jillie Mack, a bond rooted not in red carpets, but in real life, loyalty, and laughter. If you're drawn to celebrity relationships that are equal parts romantic and reflective, and if you appreciate Hollywood love stories built on quiet strength instead of scandal, then this journey through Tom Selleck's love life is for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to discover more legendary romances from Hollywood's most fascinating stars. 1. Jacqueline Ray. Before the world knew his name, Magnum P.I. made him a household icon. Tom Selleck found love in the quiet corners of 1970s Hollywood with Jacqueline Ray, a striking model and actress with classic American beauty and undeniable confidence. Their meeting wasn't flashy or headline-worthy. It was subtle, intimate, the connection that grows from shared values rather than shared cameras. Jacqueline was already a single mom to young Kevin Shepard, while Tom was still chasing his big break. Perhaps it was his steady presence, his warm, grounded energy, that made her believe in building something real with him. The two married on May 15, 1971, embarking on a relationship that would last over a decade, a rarity in showbiz. More than a husband, Tom became a father figure to Kevin, whom he later lovingly called "my only child." For years, they lived a peaceful, tightly knit family life, especially during Tom's filming of Magnum P.I. in Hawaii. It was a slower, more grounded chapter where love meant long walks, not long headlines. But as Selleck's star rose, the weight of fame began to test the stability of their bond. In 1982, Jacqueline filed for divorce. It wasn't scandalous. There was no drama, just two people who had loved deeply, choosing to part ways with mutual respect. Tom made it clear in later interviews that there were no hard feelings. He described Jacqueline as someone he remained close to and continued to call Kevin his son. His words weren't for show. They revealed a man of quiet loyalty and grace, even after love had taken a different shape. A year later, Tom would meet Jillie Mack, his future wife and lifelong partner. But Jacqueline Ray remained an essential part of his past, and, in many ways, of his emotional DNA. She even occasionally appeared under Jacqueline Ray Selleck, a nod to a chapter that shaped them both. Their love story wasn't a Hollywood tragedy. It was honest, tender, and respectful, the kind of relationship that doesn't fade with fame. In a world where celebrity romances often burn bright and fast, Tom Selleck and Jacqueline Ray's marriage is remembered for its sincerity, stability, and profound emotional legacy. 2. Lillian Müller. After parting ways with Jacqueline Ray on respectful terms, Tom Selleck entered a new phase in his life, one where career heights were rising fast, but his world remained more elusive. And during those glittering years of Hollywood's late 70s and early 80s, Lillian Müller, a Norwegian model and former Playboy Playmate of the Year, emerged quietly into his orbit. Rumors of a romantic connection between Tom Selleck and Lillian Müller swirled through entertainment circles like cigarette smoke in a jazz club. Tantalizing, impossible to hold, and never fully confirmed. No joint red carpet appearances, no heartwarming couple interviews. There were whispers, fleeting mentions, and the kind of unanswered speculation that Hollywood was built on. Their names became linked primarily through industry gossip columns and retrospective celebrity dating rundowns, most of which framed their alleged relationship as short-lived and intensely private. The idea of two incredibly photogenic, charismatic people finding each other during their prime was enough to ignite public fascination, but both remained utterly silent. And perhaps that's what makes this relationship so compelling. It exists in the in-between, the gray area where privacy trumps publicity and where respect seems to override the need for tabloid headlines. At the time, Tom Selleck was ascending rapidly, thanks to his breakout role on Magnum P.I., while Lillian Müller was captivating audiences as a model, actress, and media personality. Their paths crossed at a time when both were in the public eye, yet somehow this chapter, if it existed at all, remains beautifully unwritten. Did they date? Were they more than just acquaintances? We may never know, but we know this: neither party used their connection to stir buzz or gain attention. And that speaks volumes in today's world of oversharing and performative romance. Sometimes what's left unsaid tells the most. And in Tom Selleck's love life story, the rumored romance with Lillian Müller remains a soft focus moment, a fleeting melody in the background of a much larger, richer love story. Not every connection needs to be defined to be meaningful. Some linger, quiet, mysterious, and oddly unforgettable. 3. Marie Helvin. As the whispers of Tom Selleck's rumored romance with Lillian Müller faded quietly into Hollywood lore, another name surfaced. Marie Helvin, the sophisticated British-Japanese supermodel who had already carved her place in fashion history. Their connection was never splashed across headlines, never confirmed with a red carpet appearance or tabloid exposé. But sometimes, the most intriguing stories are the ones told in shadows, not spotlights. They met in the late 1970s at an industry after-party in Los Angeles, a fleeting, elegant moment between two rising stars from different worlds. Tom Selleck, not yet the household name he'd become with Magnum PI, still exuded that quiet magnetism, the towering frame, the iconic mustache, the calm, deep voice. Marie Helvin, with her poised elegance and sharp wit, was every bit the modern muse of the fashion world, an icon in her own right, admired for both beauty and brains. There were no paparazzi photos, no tabloid scoops, just stories, told in quiet corners of Hollywood, about the actor and the model who might have shared late dinners at hidden West Hollywood restaurants or early morning walks before the city stirred. By most accounts, what they had wasn't a relationship defined by public appearances or dramatic declarations. It was something softer, more intimate, a connection rooted in conversation, mutual respect, and the kind of quiet companionship that doesn't beg to be seen or felt. For Tom, Marie's intelligence and worldly insight contrasted with the glittering chaos of rising fame. And for Marie, Tom's grounded demeanor and warm humor created a rare sense of ease in a world often fueled by performance. They were kindred spirits in many ways, drawn together by a shared longing for depth amid the spectacle. But timing is everything. Marie was jet-setting across continents for editorial shoots and runway shows. Tom was locking into the relentless schedule of a primetime series that would soon define his career. And while no one officially announced a breakup, their paths continued forward, parallel, but no longer intertwined. Years later, when asked about that time, Marie Helvin once said, "Some people come into your life to remind you that even brief moments can leave lasting impressions." Tom Selleck, ever discreet, offered a rare moment of reflection in an interview, saying, "Some of the most beautiful memories are the ones that never needed an ending." Whatever they shared, be it a romance, a friendship, or simply a passing understanding, was marked by elegance, subtlety, and mutual admiration. And in the larger tapestry of Tom Selleck's love life, Marie Helvin's chapter remains one of quiet poetry, a jazz tune played softly after midnight, never finished, but unforgettable all the same. 4. Kitten Natividad. As the elegance of Tom Selleck's rumored chapter with Marie Helvin faded into a whisper of old Hollywood glamour, his name unexpectedly surfaced alongside one of the era's most provocative icons, Kitten Natividad. It was a pairing no one reasonably expected, the clean-cut, mustachioed gentleman of Magnum, PI, and the voluptuous, unapologetically bold queen of erotic cinema. Kitten Natividad, known for her starring roles in Russ Meyer's cult classics and her fearless presence on screen, has had a dating history as colorful and uninhibited as her filmography. Among the many famous names linked to her, including John Holmes, Tony Curtis, and Red Fox, Tom Selleck appears quietly, almost out of place, like a line in a script never meant to be spoken aloud. There are no photos, no interviews, there are no quotes or sightings. Yet in the vast and often unverified archives of celebrity dating lore, Selleck is listed among Kitten's past lovers. The claim exists only in brief mentions on gossip databases and entertainment bios, a footnote rather than a headline. Whether this rumored romance was real or simply the product of Hollywood's endless appetite for intrigue, it remains a compelling piece of Selleck's mythos. For a man known for his grounded demeanor and private life, this unexpected match adds a fascinating layer to his otherwise buttoned-up image. And maybe that's the allure, not in the certainty of what happened, but in the tantalizing idea it might have. We know this. Tom Selleck has always carried himself with grace, discretion, and respect for the people around him. He's not the kind of celebrity to kiss and tell, let alone confirm salacious rumors. So if something did occur between him and Kitten Natividad, be it a brief fling, a single date, or just a moment lost to time, it was kept private, as so many truly human connections are. On the other hand, Kitten has been more open about her past. A bold and candid figure, she has spoken publicly about her relationships, her battles with breast cancer, and her place in the pop culture canon of the 1970s and 80s. Linking her to Selleck, even speculatively, brings together two kinds of Hollywood legacies, intersecting briefly in rumor, if not in reality. Ultimately, this maybe relationship is less about scandal and more mystery, a moment of what if in an era filled with glitter and shadows. And in the story of Tom Selleck's romantic history, so often defined by loyalty, privacy, and quiet strength, the whispered name of Kitten Natividad adds a rare flash of fire. Five. Goldie Hawn. At some point in every Hollywood generation, there are two names so universally beloved, so effortlessly charismatic, that people want them to be together. For the 1980s and 90s, Tom Selleck and Goldie Hawn were exactly that kind of pairing. One, the mustachioed gentleman of Magnum P.I., with a voice like velvet and a grin that could stop traffic. The other, the golden girl of romantic comedies, radiant, quick-witted, and impossible not to love. It was only a matter of time before the whispers began. Rumors of a secret relationship between Tom Selleck and Goldie Hawn began circulating in Hollywood tabloids decades ago. No photos, no red carpet sightings, no official projects linking them. And yet, the possibility lingered like the final note of a love song you're not quite ready to turn off. Some claimed they had been spotted together at private parties. Others insisted there was a spark during a brief encounter at an industry event. A few even alleged that the two had a quiet, off-the-radar romance that was never meant to go public. But for all the speculation, no verifiable source has ever confirmed that Selleck and Hawn shared anything beyond admiration and mutual respect. It's important to note that Tom Selleck has always carried himself with integrity, especially concerning his personal life. He's not one to gossip, and he's never been one to chase headlines with salacious stories. Goldie Hawn, likewise, has long been celebrated for her authenticity and honesty, particularly in her decades-long relationship with actor Kurt Russell, a love story that's practically a Hollywood institution. So, did something happen between Goldie and Tom? Probably not. But here's the beauty of stories like this. They tap into our yearning for iconic matches, for movie magic chemistry that leaps off the screen and into real life. And in a way, the fact that this rumored connection remains unconfirmed only adds to its mystique. Even without a romantic history, the mere idea of Tom Selleck and Goldie Hawn as a couple continues to charm fans. It's the kind of what-if that lives in fan fiction, late-night talk show jokes, and nostalgic YouTube comment threads. A pairing of two people who defined an era, brought warmth to the screen, and somehow, without ever being together, made us believe in the magic that only Hollywood can dream up. Six. Mimi Rogers. Long before she made headlines as the first wife of Tom Cruise, Mimi Rogers shared a brief but intriguing chapter with another Hollywood leading man, Tom Selleck. It didn't involve dramatic headlines or whirlwind tabloid romances. Instead, it was quiet and fleeting. And, like many moments in Tinseltown, it was lost somewhere between rising fame and missed timing. Their relationship occurred in the early 1980s, around 1982 to 1983, a pivotal time for both. Thanks to Magnum P.I., Selleck had just become a household name, effortlessly charming audiences with that signature mustache, easy confidence, and slow-burn charisma. Meanwhile, Mimi Rogers was carving out her path, rising through the ranks of Hollywood with a smoldering screen presence and razor-sharp wit that made casting directors notice. According to several biographical sources, Tom and Mimi were quietly dating, occasionally spotted together at industry functions and exclusive Hollywood gatherings. Though never officially confirmed in interviews, their pairing has long been cited in retrospectives of their respective dating histories, often mentioned with a kind of respectful curiosity. There were no paparazzi meltdowns, no breathless tell-alls, just two stars orbiting each other briefly before continuing along their distinct trajectories. What makes this connection particularly interesting is what it wasn't. It wasn't headline-grabbing. It wasn't destined for scandal. Instead, it was the kind of grown-up, low-profile romance you'd expect from two professionals who understood the spotlight but didn't necessarily crave it. They had careers to build, scripts to read, reputations to maintain. And perhaps that's why this particular relationship, short as it may have been, feels all the more grounded. Of course, Mimi Rogers would go on to capture the media's attention with her marriage to Tom Cruise, a relationship that dominated headlines in the late 1980s. On the other hand, Tom Selleck continued to rise as a staple of American television and a symbol of masculine grace, eventually settling into a long-lasting love of his own. Looking back, the brief intersection between Tom Selleck and Mimi Rogers feels like a slight but notable footnote in both stories. Not for the drama it caused, but for the restraint it showed. A reminder that not every Hollywood connection needs to be explosive to matter. Some are quiet chapters that reveal a bit more about who our favorite stars were before the spotlight burned brightest. Seven. Jill Street. John. When the whispers of a romance with Mimi Rogers began to fade, Tom Selleck's name was again quietly linked to another Hollywood icon, the elegant and captivating Jill St. John. There was no media frenzy, no public outings, no tell-all interviews. But this rumored connection piqued interest in the golden haze of 1970s Hollywood, where a single glance or brief encounter could launch 1,000 rumors. Jill St. John, already a household name and the first American Bond girl thanks to her turn in Diamonds Are Forever, was a woman whose beauty and charisma turned heads wherever she went. With his signature mustache and easygoing charm, Tom Selleck was rising fast in the industry, a television heartthrob in the making. Together, their names side by side stirred up intrigue, not because of what was confirmed, but because of what wasn't. The details of their alleged connection remain elusive. No red carpet photos. I don't have any official confirmation. A gentle hum of speculation echoed through industry circles and celebrity gossip columns. Some biographical sources have quietly included St. John in Selleck's dating history, not with fanfare, but with respectful acknowledgement. As if to say, something may have happened, or maybe it didn't, but it's too intriguing to ignore. In truth, the idea of Tom Selleck and Jill St. John together feels like a scene left on the cutting room floor. Beautiful, stylish, and unresolved. A story that might have begun but never reached its third act. Jill would continue to find enduring love with actor Robert Wagner, while Tom's path would eventually lead him to the steadfast relationship that would define his personal life. Still, for fans and romantics alike, the idea of these two stars crossing paths, even if only briefly, is like a whispered Hollywood legend. One of those what-if moments lingers long enough to make you wonder, what might have been if timing had been different? In a world where celebrity relationships are often dissected under a microscope, the mystery of Tom Selleck and Jill St. John stands out precisely because it was never exploited, just felt, imagined, and left in the soft glow of possibility. 8. Jillie Mack. After years of high-profile romances and fleeting headlines, Tom Selleck finally found what many in Hollywood rarely do: lasting love. And he found it not in the spotlight, but behind the scenes. Her name? Jillie Mack was a British actress and dancer whose charm lit up the stage in Cats, but whose fundamental role would be as the quiet, steady force behind one of Hollywood's most enduring marriages. Their story begins not with flashing cameras or red carpets, but with curiosity. In 1983, while filming Lassiter in London, Tom returned to see Cats repeatedly, more than a dozen times, depending on who you ask. The reason it turned out wasn't just the performance, it was the dancer who played Rumpelteazer. Jillie had captured his attention, and soon, his heart. Their connection was quiet, genuine, and rooted in something more profound than showbiz sparkle. When Jillie's run in Cats ended, she moved to the United States to be with Tom. The two kept a low profile, but their bond was clear. By 1987, they were married in a secret ceremony near Lake Tahoe, using aliases to avoid the press. No tabloids, no glamorized spread, just a private moment for two people who chose each other over the noise. A year later, they welcomed their daughter, Hannah Margaret Selleck, who would become an accomplished equestrian. With that, Tom made a rare choice in his industry. He stepped back from fame to step fully into fatherhood. They moved to a ranch in Ventura County, California, where horses and hay bales replaced premieres and paparazzi. Jillie, too, embraced the quiet life. Though she'd had an entertainment career, she set it aside to raise their daughter and build a home. Their 12-year age difference? Never an issue. What mattered was mutual respect, a shared sense of humor, and the kind of loyalty that Hollywood rarely sees. In a world where love stories often burn fast and fade quickly, Tom and Jillie are a rare slow flame, steady, warm, enduring. They've now been together nearly 4 decades. Through career highs, life transitions, and fame that can test any relationship, they've stayed grounded, prioritizing family, honesty, and each other. When asked what makes their love last, Tom often said it comes down to laughter and support, not taking each other for granted. He told People magazine, "My marriage and ranch keep me sane." To fans, they're more than a celebrity couple. They're a reminder that real love doesn't always need the spotlight. Sometimes it just needs two people willing to hold hands through all of life's seasons, quietly, loyally, and forever. From his early marriage to Jacqueline Ray to the whispered romances with Lillian Müller, Marie Helvin, Kitten Natividad, and Mimi Rogers, and even the speculative links to Jill St. John and Goldie Hawn, Tom Selleck's romantic journey is as layered and nuanced as the man himself. Some loves were deep and lasting, others fleeting and mysterious. Yet each shaped the calm, grounded, and profoundly respectful man we've come to admire. And then came Jillie Mack, the one he didn't just fall for, but chose. No grand declarations, no media spectacles, just a quiet, enduring love built on mutual respect, laughter, and steadfast loyalty. In a world where celebrity relationships often burn bright and fast, Tom and Jillie's story is a testament to something far rarer, a love that lasts. In 2025, Tom Selleck turned 80, living a peaceful life on his ranch in Ventura, California. While his time on screen has become less frequent, his presence in the hearts of fans remains timeless. He is remembered not just as a television icon, but as a symbol of integrity, devotion, and humility in his career and personal life. In a recent interview, he reflected that family remains the most precious of all the things he's gained in life. Tom Selleck's love story teaches us something quietly profound. Love doesn't have to be loud, flashy, or flawless to be unforgettable. Some people pass through our lives for a reason, but those who stay become home. So here's to Tom Selleck. May he continue to enjoy health, happiness, and the quiet joys of life with the ones he loves most. Which chapter of Tom Selleck's romantic history resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories and timeless love tales from Hollywood. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the following video.